So if you remember from the American Gladiators movie, them coming right through this door and going right up these steps. Hey Patrick.
Hi there, how are you?
I am the spa guy. Is it okay if I film you?
It sure is. Welcome to TKI, first of all. And you are here in, come on up the stairs.
Yes, sir.
What we call the King's Staircase.
Okay.
And on both sides of the wall, Elvis fans have signed in over this past year, and we have them from everywhere from Sweden and UK, all over the place.
France. Yeah, Yannick, my buddies from France came. They visited me and they came over to visit you. Yeah.
That's right.
Mike Freeman. And so this staircase was in the movie.
And the movie that he was making up here called the New Gladiators.
Yes, sir.
And he came up here on 2 occasions to film that. Come on in.
Yes, sir.
Now you gotta pardon us a little bit because we're old here and the building had some water damage that kind of wiped out my display up here.
Yes, sir.
And we're currently getting it repainted, so.
Well, it looks nice.
Well, the rest of it is in good shape.
Hey there, how are you?
My future wife,
Hey,
Jack.
future wife.
How are you?
And come on in,
All right.
come on in. We took down some of our display,
Okay.
okay? But since you were coming, I put some of it back up.
Okay, cool.
Of course, most of it's our licenses and stuff like that. This over in the corner is the newspaper. We were on the front page of the Commercial Appeal, which is the Mid-South newspaper, about our grand opening or our reopening of TKI a year ago.
Yes, sir.
And the way they styled it was Elvis's karate school returning to Crosstown.
And that's accurate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is very cool.
On the money.
And look at this, Mr. Presley and Mr. Wrenn.
Oh yeah, well, you'll see
That's
something
very
in
cool.
there in a minute. This wooden plaque was given to me because I train Navy operators and I also train U.S. Army Special Forces guys. And the U.S. Army was proud of the work we had done with them, and they had that hand carved in Uganda for us.
Wow.
And gifted to us when we opened the place again. So we wanted to hang that.
So do you know what that
place.
means, Patrick?
That's the patch for the U.S. Army Special Forces.
Ah, Special Forces patch. That's
So
very cool.
That's what that is. Yeah, it is cool, isn't it?
It is. All right, so Patrick, tell us about how long have you been in karate?
I have been a black belt for 54 years.
Wow. I'm 53, so longer than I've been alive. So 64 you started.
Every day of my life since 64 has been dedicated to this and this alone.
That is awesome.
I wasn't an insurance guy, and this was my hobby. This was my whole life.
This is how you made
Yep.
a living.
Yep.
All right, so I mentioned to you, and friends, you probably don't know this, but I've started taking karate. A couple of reasons for exercise. The other reason is I want to understand karate more from an inside aspect than just somebody telling me about it.
Right.
So there's different versions of karate. My particular version that I study under is Pasarao, which is a Japanese version. I mean,
Wataru.
What I'm Wataru, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Pasarao is
Was Kangrees.
and your style is
We're American karate, very simple.
okay.
The American Combative Arts System.
Okay. So what, in just a real quick, easy way to understand, and see, I'm even confused about it, and I'm working on it. You know.
Yeah.
Tell me the difference between those things. I know there's a Korean aspect, a Japanese aspect.
First of all, karate, taekwondo, wushu, kung fu, any of them can only be done with the 4 limbs that we've got. The 4 limbs that we've got move correctly one way. okay? And these fellas knew this. So they would develop one system that kicks a certain way and really masters how to do it. And that would be this guy's style. And then this other guy said, well, no, I can jump and spin. And the guy that started his style, that's just a ground kicker, says, well, you jump, spin, I'll get you. The guy that jumps and spins says, no, you won't get me. And he's a master at jumping and spinning. This guy's a master at very direct karate. Then you got another guy who says, no, well, I got hand, forget legs. I'm gonna stay on the ground. I wanna fight with hands. I'm gonna sweep you and take you down. So that's another style. So that's how the different styles originally began. And there were a ton of them. The word karate did not even exist until 1923. People say, oh, karate's 100. No, it is not. Gishin Funakoshi, who studied my original style that I studied, Shorin-ryu, which is an Okinawan style. He studied that and became a 5th degree master in it in Okinawa. He went to Japan and decided to enlighten them about what it is. And he developed the word karate. Okay? Originally, it was just called te, hand. He stuck kara in front, empty hand. And that's exactly what it meant. It doesn't mean fighting, it doesn't mean, it means empty hand. I come to you with my empty hand, just like my International Karate Kickboxing plaque says on it. I come to you with my empty hand, I need no other weapon than my empty hand.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's talk about Japanese as opposed to Korean.
Okay.
You mentioned to me, the system that I'm learning is Japanese words.
Correct.
You told me that the system that Elvis learned was more of a Korean. Am I correct about that?
No.
Or a mixture?
Originally, he studied Japanese karate.
Okay.
And that's what his first black belt was in.
So
Okay?
he learned the Japanese terms.
He learned all of it that way.
Okay.
Very traditional and very hard. Japanese karate, to digress just a touch, Funakoshi, when he went to Japan, he changed the names of the Shorin-ryu kata, and he started a style called Shotokan. Biggest style of Japanese karate on this earth today. His nickname was Shoto.
Shoto.
So he named it after himself. Okay? It's a very hard, direct, straight in punch, straight in front kick, gonna get you kind of a style of karate.
Okay.
Taekwondo, on the other hand, which Elvis ended up studying in Memphis with Master Kang Ree, was a more of a high kicking, there's more flourish to the technique, which worked really good against a guy who was coming in very directly, because if you could jump spin to his head, it was a good shot that he hadn't been trained in defending against. So different styles played on different things. Elvis, when he came here and worked out with Master Ree, was introduced to the Korean approach to martial arts and apparently really excelled at it. When Elvis, came to TKI, there were a couple of times that he worked out up here, but we were fighting up here, full contact fighting. And that is not something that he could be involved with, because if anything happened to any part of him, it either would have damaged his face or some part of his body and kept him from a show or something like that. So he was in great shape, but he was not able to engage in all of the aspects of his martial art.
I noticed that the
point.
videos of him doing it are all low impact, no real hitting, no that
Right.
kind of stuff. But also, I didn't see any kata in it.
But-
so tell us about kata.
Okay. Kata, first of all, is a Japanese word. In Korean, it's hyung. Okay? I have a 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo also. Okay? Hyung or kata are a way that a martial artist can rehearse and practice specific technique against a pictured opponent. I'm not saying imaginary, because you've got to act in that kata the same as if that human being was attacking or defending against you. So kata was a way that people could practice with no impact, as you pointed out a minute ago.
It's karate choreographed, more
Right.
or less. It's choreography.
It's choreographed moves that teach you combinations of movements. You can't just walk in and punch somebody and then stand there to see if it worked or not. You have to have move 2, 3, 4, and 5, because usually 1 doesn't get it, 2 doesn't get it, maybe move 3 will, maybe 4 will.
And that's a way, by them learning kata, the different katas, they learn to move in different combinations. Over a period of time, those combinations become automatic in
That's
your
it.
body, and that's the point of it, and that's degrees as you're moving up. and
That
different
is
belts and
exactly
kind of
it.
stuff. So
Exactly it.
I think that's a great overview of what kata is. And Elvis did work out to kata,
Of
but
course.
that's not what they did here.
No,
That's not what Bill Wallace did.
nope,
So,
not at all.
So this place is famous. Let's set the stage for the fame that this place, for some reason, brings. Okay, so you've got everybody knows Elvis was here.
That's right.
Okay, so but Bill Wallace. Tell us about Bill Wallace.
Bill Wallace was a fella that Elvis met at Kangarees, because at one time Bill Wallace was an instructor for Master Ree. Elvis had asked him, when Elvis decided he wanted his own school, he wanted the best people he could get. There was Bill Wallace, who was the biggest name in the martial arts. There was one other big name in martial arts, and his name was Joe Louis. He was a movie star, he was the golden boy of martial arts, and he was a heavyweight. The heavyweights, if you're a good big guy, that's what the cameras want to see. But in this particular case, the best guy on the face of the earth was a middleweight, 160-pound guy, Bill Wallace. Come with me for a second and I'll show you. Here in our lobby, I have set up a number of the pictures from the old days. These 3 pictures down on the bottom were original to the TKI 40 years ago. I took them to a photo regeneration place, and through computers, they brought them back to life, because they were all just moldy and all kinds of other stuff, but they brought them back. You can see Bill Wallace's stretch on his sidekick. He was noted back then for being able to throw a round kick or hook kick faster than the camera could catch it. They did a thing on television where he threw 3 kicks, the camera caught 2.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was the best, 60 mile an hour
And
leg.
he was considered the best in the world.
He was considered the best in the world.
And still is considered the best in the
Yes, he
world.
certainly is. He's considered the best kicker ever in karate, which goes back as far as you historically want to go. Here's the other fella I was talking about, Joe Louis. They were dear friends, first of all. They fought against each other in tournaments for years and went back and forth. Bill would win, he would win.
And this is autographed to
Of
you
course.
from Bill and from Joe Lewis.
Joe Lewis.
And that's an autograph to you from
from
Bill.
Bill.
That is ultra cool.
Yep.
And this is the sign. This was the TKI sign.
That was the original shirt.
That's the original shirt, and
Yeah.
you still use that
I
sign today.
registered that trademark.
Okay, so you have
Okay.
that. Show us your shirt.
Yep.
And you have these shirts available,
Well,
by the way.
yeah, I do
I don't
have
want to get
them.
off too far off the subject.
Available, but I had that put on my body because, and I don't believe in tattoos, okay? I wasn't brought up to think they were cool. But I lived behind that sign for 40 years of my life. And I figured, doggone it, that's me.
Yeah,
I'm a
and
part
I like
of
that.
this.
But they have an opportunity to get a shirt.
To get shirts, hoodies, we got hats,
Okay.
we sell all kinds of souvenirs
Okay.
up here, for
Okay.
sure, yeah.
And you sell them here, but you also have them online. And at the end, we'll talk about how they can
We'll
find them
talk
online.
about that.
Okay, is
Yep,
that fair?
for sure.
All right, and I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to get off the subject,
No.
but that is original, and Elvis was here under that sign.
Yep,
So
he
that
was.
is definitely Elvis related, no question.
Let me take you on a
Okay.
tour here. We'll get to this wall in a second,
Okay.
but since you brought up
Oh, there's the symbol.
the symbol, the
Yep.
symbol was back on this wall exactly, but it was much smaller.
It was smaller. So there's photographs. I will put the photographs, friends, up
Right.
of this wall. There was like a little stair there, and you'll see these windows that are here.
Yep.
That door was not here, but these windows are in the photographs. And
They
I'll
were
put them up.
screened in, of course.
Yep, the screen's missing, but that was definitely here at that time. So tell us about that, Patrick.
So, well, when we started the school, we wanted it to make sense on our patch. There was not another patch like this, another symbol like this that we saw in the martial arts. Well, I've determined or interpreted it to say that karate is the gateway. This is a Torii gate. This is in every airport, every harbor, every town and city of Japan. It's the gate of entrance. Karate is the gateway to knowledge about what yin yang represents, the inner and outer self.
And karate is about that. Karate
That's
is
what
about
karate is about.
self-discipline, the inner things, but it's also about the outer things, the physical.
I'll give you an idea. I have had a lot of very mean guys come through my door in the last 50 years. I've had some criminal type, really, really tough guys come through that wanted to train and become a karate fighter. I never had one of that type person succeed because karate, kung fu, taekwondo, the traditional martial arts are based on building the human from the inside out. It's not about looking like a bodybuilder from the outside in. It's about what you are inside. And what they look for is a purity of mind and spirit. So to me, the martial arts represents mind, body, and spirit.
That's very cool. So this place, I'm going to turn around now
Yeah,
so we
sure.
can see. These are the windows. We're standing inside the second floor, friends. And this place, I remember from photographs that wall was not there. There was a wall, well, I see the walls actually around the corner.
Well, here's
So,
what happened.
Was there, and I haven't asked you about this off camera, and I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, I'm not trying to throw us off.
Sure.
But I remember, did Red live here or have a room here, or there was something about a room? Is it that room over there? I know this is Elvis's office over here.
It was, I had a new sign made up because someone swiped the old one.
Okay.
The old one said, Mr. West and Mr. Presley.
Ah, okay, on the door.
So now
it
it's me
says
and
Mr. Presley and Mr. Wrenn. Okay, I get that.
All right, because in the old days, that room was Bill Wallace's room.
Okay.
And the locker room, the shower room over there, this was a room that came out to here.
Okay.
Was the ladies' dressing room. The men's dressing room was right through there.
Okay.
That was my office in there. That was
Okay.
my hole to get
Okay.
dressed out in. This back here. Now, a minute ago, you said this wasn't here.
This wall, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
This wall was here. It went all the way up. You
Okay.
can see
Yeah, where it used to be.
up
Okay.
there. When the bands used this place as a rehearsal hall, they tore it down.
Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was going to allude to the band, but we're going to get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
This room went all the way across.
Ah, so that wall was not there then.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was here exactly as it is now. Okay? And here's the only part of the carpet that Elvis Presley gave us is that little bit of red and black going right down there. That's all we've got.
That's all that's left.
And I'm going to have to pry it up because someone will get a piece of it otherwise.
Yeah.
But what we did this time.
So Elvis paid for the carpet and
He
was
paid
it mirrors?
for the carpet and the mirrors and got us all set up with what we needed up here.
Okay.
I rebuilt this wall because whoever was in here rehearsing knocked it down
Okay.
from there over. So I rebuilt
Was that
this
so?
up.
That was a classroom back in the day, like you've got it set up now.
Well, it was we had weights back there, and generally nothing happened back there, to
Okay.
be honest with you. Okay, so now we've got a classroom. We've got our wall back. This is the exact same flag we had up here 40 years ago.
Wow.
I don't have the Tennessee state flag that we had because somebody got it, but I kept that the whole time.
And you're Patrick the Viper Wrenn, which
Yeah.
which is why your tattoo has the viper in it.
That's right. I have 6 world records for crushing things with my hands. One of my world records was in the Smithsonian Institution Science of Sports exhibit for however many years they had that on display up there. I have the fastest hands in the world. I'm 71 years old. I can still do it. These were the trunks I wore when I broke 5,412 boards. It took me 47 minutes and 13 seconds. I broke both of my hands and arms in the process, but I did it. I told everybody I would break a mile of wood in 45 minutes. It took me 2 minutes longer, I'm sorry, but I did it, and this is what I was wearing, so I figured I better hang those boys up there.
That's very cool.
And as you see here, it says Viper. You betcha. Now this room, I converted into my office now. This Kabuki Theater was from Arts in the Park here in Memphis. I'm a big supporter of other arts, music, and you know, the other forms of art.
I'm going to get on this side of you because of the light.
Sure. I believe that anything that you start has an education for you as long as you finish it. That's the key. There are people who start and start and start, and they start 8 million things and never finish one. What I've learned from karate is that you got to finish. And what I've learned after over 50 years of doing the same thing is I'm still not finished. I've still got as far as I can see to go. So That's what that represents. This is an actual Native American.
Dreamcatcher was.
Well,
one of the
no,
things that
this
they were
was
calling. A shield.
Shield.
Okay.
War shield.
Okay.
And the fellow that made it followed the traditional Indian thought. You'll notice that our TKI symbol is up there. I fought my professional kickboxing matches down in Palm Beach, Florida, which is what's represented here. Prior to me getting in karate, I imported big cats, birds of prey, reptiles, and marine aquatics for zoos. And I had all kinds of big cats were my favorite. And so that's what's represented there. Aside from karate, I trained 2 boxing world champions. One is Aaron the Hawk Pryor. He fought against Alexis Arguello 2 times. He was supposed to lose, but oddly enough, we won. And the first fight was in the Orange Bowl in Miami. The second fight was at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Aaron Pryor won both of them, and he autographed this, Patrick, to the best trainer in the world, Aaron Pryor.
That's pretty cool.
Tickles me
I
to
see
death.
this name, Hector Macho Camacho.
Yeah, we were trying to get a fight between Aaron and Hector Macho Camacho, but it never materialized.
And I see Bill Wallace right here.
This is one of his posters from one of his professional fights back in the day, where they were still wearing safety punch on their hands instead of boxing gloves. Somewhere in the beginning, they decided, hey, we need more protection. If we're going to be respected, we've got to wear traditional boxing gloves. They wore the same safety gear on their feet, but 8-ounce gloves for his size, 10-ounce gloves for light heavyweight and heavyweight.
Does that say 165? I can't see it, Patrick.
Yeah, it does.
So man, he's my height, 5'10", and 165. He was skinny.
Today
He was really
he's
skinny.
that.
Really?
And built like a brick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Bill Wallace
Where does he live
is
at?
something else. He lives down in Palm Beach,
Does he?
Florida.
Is he in Florida?
Travels all over the world. Comes up here and sees us a time or two.
That's your boards that you were talking
This
about.
was from the 5,200 board break. This picture is from a board break where I broke 1,200 boards. It was on ESPN, and I did that in 11 minutes.